Morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Reality Bites. We're still on the series, What to Say When You Pray. Yesterday, we talked about Our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. But today, I want to talk about something that I really like in this particular verse. And remember, we're in Luke chapter 11, verses 1 through 13. It says, our kingdom come, or your kingdom come, and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amazing verse, because I think it says a lot about how our mindset needs to be when we begin to approach God in prayer. So it wanted his kingdom to come and his will to be done. I don't know about you, but I love going to medieval times. I love the pageantry. I love the chivalrous nature of things. I love that whole medieval time of King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, the whole thing, the steeds, the stallions, the castle, the knights, the armor, the jousting, the swords, the mace, all the different things in that era. I love that era. And so, but that era is what we know as a monarchy. And it's the same thing that goes on in Britain today. There's a monarchy. Some countries still have those. And a monarchy is where we don't have a president or prime minister, but we have a king that oversees things. So in that medieval time, there was a king. So when you had a kingdom was that which a king oversaw everything. There was a rule and a government established by the king. So when we ask for the kingdom to come, it means that we want God's rule, we want God's reign, we want God's authority in our lives. So that's a tricky part. It's a risky thing to pray, because what we say is we take away our own desire. We take away what we want, and we say, God, I want your kingdom. I want your authority. And a lot of us have a tough time with that part of the prayer because we don't like authority. Truth be told, you give your boss flack. You give any supervisors a tough time. You give people who are in authority a little bit of a grudge. You don't treat them like you do people who you may be in authority over, or your peers. Authority sometimes rubs you the wrong way. That's why you do what you do with police officers. You do what you do with other people who may, with governmental authority. You don't like it. We don't like it. So it's tough for us to pray that prayer and say, God, I want your authority. But that's the mindset we need to have when we pray. Secondly, he says, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I'm going to end on this point, but we want God's will to be done. We want God's, not just his authority in the kingdom or his oversight, but now we want his desire to be done in us. We want the reason he created us, his will to be done in us. That's what we're asking for. Many of us have gone through life just kind of prancing around, dancing around, ignorant or not knowing what God's full purpose and intent for us is. But we want that in our lives. We want to ask God, what is your will for me? And let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. Here's a trick. Look at this. A lot of times we pray and we say, well, God, let your will be done on earth, on this globe, on this 6 billion plus people. Let your will be done here. Let your desire be done here. But let's take it a step further. You and I, if we look back in the book of Genesis, were created from the dirt. We're created from the dust. So we want to say, God, we are earth. We are dust. Let your will be done on the earth. So let your will be done in me. Did you get that? Because we're made of earth and dust. So we're asking God, not just on the globe, let your will be done, but in my life, in who I am, in my body, in my mind. Let your desires, let your preferences be in me so that I can live those out. Listen, we're done for today, but I want you to take that with you. When you're praying this prayer in Luke 11, you're praying and asking for God's authority, his rule, his reign in your life. And then secondly, you want his will, his desire, and his preferences to be in your life and in your heart and in earth, which is you and I, as they're done in heaven. We want our lives to be a reflection of what's going on there down here. Listen, that's enough for today. We're done. We're probably over our 5 minutes, but we'll see you tomorrow with more reality bites and what to say when you pray. Love you. See you then. Bye-bye.